The Russian Mafia, known as Bratva or Brotherhood, continues to be one of the most powerful and secretive criminal networks in the world. This vast empire spans from street-level gangs to white-collar criminals deeply intertwined with the state. Their operations have evolved dramatically in recent years, particularly in this year, as the war in Ukraine, economic sanctions, and global instability have shaped their methods. Here's a detailed look at the Russian Mafia's activities, the criminal networks, and their enduring power. A mafia linked to the state. Unlike most global crime organizations, the Russian Mafia has always enjoyed a special relationship with the state. In the 1990s, the line between criminals and politicians blurred, as both groups worked together to profit from Russia's chaotic transition to capitalism. Today, this relationship is stronger than ever, with many mafia figures enjoying political protection in exchange for their loyalty. The Kremlin has often used mafia groups to carry out activities that could not be officially sanctioned, including assassinations, smuggling, and money laundering. Russian President Vladimir Putin's close ties to oligarchs, many of whom have criminal past, ensure that the mafia continues to be an unofficial arm of state power. This symbiotic relationship has allowed both the government and the mafia to thrive, even under heavy international sanctions. War and sanctions, new revenue streams. The invasion of Ukraine in 2022 brought significant changes to the Russian mafia's operations. Western sanctions crippled Russia's economy, and many legitimate businesses struggled to survive. This, however, opened up new opportunities for criminal enterprises. In 2024, Russian crime syndicates have diversified their portfolios, getting involved in smuggling goods into Russia that are now banned due to sanctions. Everything from luxury cars to microchips is being brought into the country through black market channels controlled by the mafia. They've also expanded into other illicit markets, such as arms dealing and human trafficking, filling the gaps left by legitimate businesses. The war has not only brought profit, but also strengthened the mafia's ties to the state, as they collaborate on covert military and intelligence operations, from drugs to arms, expanding trade. Drug trafficking remains one of the Russian mafia's most lucrative operations. They dominate the heroin trade across Europe, thanks to their strong connections with Central Asian countries and groups like the Taliban. This heroin pipeline has existed for decades, but it has grown significantly since the war in Ukraine began, as the mafia seeks new revenue streams to replace those lost due to sanctions. However, drugs are not the only thing being smuggled. Russian crime syndicates are also involved in the illegal arms trade, working with regimes like North Korea and Iran to smuggle weapons to and from conflict zones. These operations serve not only to enrich the mafia but also to support Russian foreign policy objectives, as these weapons often end up in the hands of allies fighting against Western interests. Human trafficking and smuggling. The Russian mafia has long been involved in human trafficking, but in this year, their operations have reached new heights. The war in Ukraine and the resulting refugee crisis have provided ample opportunity for criminal exploitation. Desperate refugees seeking safety have been targeted by mafia-controlled smuggling rings, which promise safe passage but instead force many into modern-day slavery. Women and children are particularly vulnerable, with many ending up in forced labor or sexual exploitation. These trafficking networks stretch across Europe and the Middle East, generating billions of dollars in profits for the mafia. Additionally, human smuggling serves a dual purpose for Russian intelligence services, who use these routes to infiltrate operatives into Western countries. Cybercrime, the digital expansion. In the digital age, the Russian mafia has embraced cybercrime as one of its primary revenue streams. Cyber attacks attributed to Russian crime groups have targeted corporations, governments, and critical infrastructure around the world. Ransomware attacks have skyrocketed, with Russian hackers often demanding millions in cryptocurrency as ransom. These groups operate with near impunity, as the Russian government turns a blind eye or even provides tacit support. In some cases, Russian intelligence agencies are believed to directly collaborate with mafia-affiliated hackers, using cyber attacks as a form of economic warfare against Western countries. The combination of technical expertise and state support makes the Russian mafia one of the most dangerous players in the global cybercrime arena. Illegal tobacco and counterfeit goods. While drug trafficking and cybercrime may grab headlines, the Russian Mafia has also continued to profit from more traditional criminal activities. In 2024, illegal tobacco smuggling remains a major source of revenue. Russian criminal groups have set up extensive operations across Europe, smuggling untaxed cigarettes into countries where tobacco taxes are high. Counterfeit goods, from clothing to pharmaceuticals, are also a big business for the mafia. These operations may not have the glamour of drug trafficking or arms smuggling, but they are incredibly lucrative. Moreover, they provide a steady stream of income that helps fund the mafia's more complex and dangerous operations. Political influence, mafia and the Kremlin. The Russian mafia's influence extends far beyond the criminal underworld. They play a significant role in shaping Russian politics, particularly through their close ties to the Kremlin. Oligarchs with mafia connections hold key positions in Russia's economy and government, ensuring that criminal interests are well represented at the highest levels of power. In return, the mafia supports the Kremlin's political goals, both at home and abroad. This mutually beneficial relationship has been on full display during the Ukraine war, as the mafia has helped the Russian government circumvent sanctions, smuggle weapons, and maintain its grip on power. The blending of criminal and political power in Russia makes it difficult to distinguish where the state ends and the mafia begins. A global presence. The Russian mafia is not confined to Russia's borders. They have a global presence, with operations stretching from Europe to the United States to Asia. In cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Miami, Russian criminal groups have established themselves as major players in the local underworld. Their global reach allows them to diversify their operations, getting involved in everything from drug trafficking to cybercrime to real estate fraud. This international expansion has made the Russian Mafia one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the world, with the ability to influence events far beyond Russia's borders. Weapons smuggling and dark alliances. Weapons smuggling has always been a core part of the Russian Mafia's operations, but in this year, this activity has taken on new importance. With Russia under heavy sanctions, the Mafia has become a critical supplier of weapons to Russian-backed militias and governments around the world. They work closely with regimes like North Korea and Iran, smuggling weapons to conflict zones in the Middle East, Africa, and beyond. These operations not only generate enormous profits for the Mafia, but also serve Russia's geopolitical interests, allowing the Kremlin to wage proxy wars without officially getting involved. The combination of criminal enterprise and state policy has made the Russian Mafia a key player in the global arms trade. The future of Russian organized crime. As the geopolitical landscape continues to shift, the Russian Mafia will likely continue to adapt and thrive. The war in Ukraine and the resulting sanctions have only strengthened their ties to the Russian state, giving them access to new markets and opportunities. They are more powerful than ever, operating with near impunity both within Russia and across the globe. As long as the Kremlin continues to rely on criminal networks to achieve its political goals, the Russian Mafia will remain an unstoppable force in global organized crime. Thank you for watching. If you found this deep dive into the Russian Mafia eye-opening, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. The world of organized crime is complex, and there's so much more to uncover, so hit that subscribe button to stay updated on our latest content. Tap the notification bell so you never miss out on future videos. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video.